Welcome, everyone. This is Craig Tobin with Aventus Solutions Group. We're just going to wait probably another minute or two. We've got a bunch of folks that are starting to join the webinar, and we're just going to give folks a few minutes to join, and we'll commit that we'll still keep you to the timetable that we've set up for the webinar. Okay, we're going to give another 30 seconds, and then we're going to start as we get a few more people joining, and then we're going to kick off. Okay, welcome everyone. This is Craig Tobin. I'm with Aventus Solutions Group. We appreciate everyone taking the time today and really getting an opportunity to educate everyone on a great opportunity that Aventus and Open Methods have been collaborating with and coming to the market with. And wanted to make sure too that we're going to save some time for some questions and answers. So if you guys can go to the GoToMeeting, I know there's an opportunity to type in your questions. We'll try to get to as many of them, but want to be respectful to keep within the time frame. So, why are we here today? Well, as many of you guys know, a lot of you out there that are running contact centers, there's some great data that's out there about where the marketplace is. And I think today's webinar will really hit home on at least 3 of these 6 key things that are driving some of the challenges in the contact centers. Again, a lot of folks, this is recent data, the latest data out from Dimension Data, but so some interesting data out there that I'm sure that many of you would recognize going through there. So again, 75% of the companies understand that having good customer service can differentiate themselves. You're seeing a lot of new roles in companies out there called VP of Customer Engagement, and there's a lot of emphasis right now in looking at the overall customer experience. At the same time, you know, the world's changing. Everybody's moving to the cloud, and a lot of the IT infrastructure and resources today may not have all the skill sets. I know they're doing a tremendous amount of cross-training and getting up to speed, but the reality is as the world changes, you know, it's going to require different IT resources. What's exciting about what we're going to talk today is that this solution will alleviate IT from many of the responsibilities that they would need to in order to solve the business problem we can do. And obviously, Omnichannel today, almost every client, if they're not there, it is in their roadmap. But how are they managing Omnichannel, and what tools do they have to effectively manage it? Aventus has really spent the last 7-8 years in the contact center, and this probably hits home because most of us have built and run contact centers. But when we look at the marketplace, interesting enough that almost 60% of the companies out there today, and for those of you that are out there that run contact centers, there is constant pressure day in, day out to drive efficiency, take cost out. And most contact centers, 60% of the companies that we work with today and through surveying and data really look at their contact center as a cost. So they're really focused on the efficiency. How do we deflect calls? How do we do lower costs? About 30% of the companies out there today do see this as a retention and how they can drive retention contact centers. But interesting enough, only 10% really see the contact center as a profit center. Today, we are going to hit home hard on the efficiency play, because what we're going to talk to today is clearly an efficiency from a reduction in average handle time, but it does touch upon key things like retention, satisfaction, and helping clients improve conversions. A little bit about Aventus. For those of you that are not familiar with us, we've been in business for almost 8 years. We've done something very unique in the marketplace as we tried to build the company. First and foremost, we're an unbiased company. We do not just solely work with one technology, whether it's an ACD system, Genesis, Cisco, Avaya, InContact, Interactive Intelligence, 5 nines. We're also not a BPO. We don't outsource. So when we get to work with clients, we have a unique ability to go in and just solve the client problems without worrying about how we're getting paid on the back end and which solutions that we're trying to sell. The model is a little bit different. We call it almost a Navy SEALs model. We have smaller, highly experienced, multidisciplinary teams. So we don't show up to the client with nine people on the projects. We tend to have 3 to 4 people that work on projects, but they're multidisciplinary, and they bring anywhere from 7 to 30 years experience. One of the trademarks of Aventus has been ease of doing business. We have contracted with some of the largest, most complex companies from Fortune 1 down, and our contracting process is something that takes a matter of weeks, not months. And we're able to work with clients on the entire customer engagement from a plan, build, manage process. So depending on where the client is on their life cycle, we can help jump in, change the engine on a 747 mid-flight, and some clients we get to be up front and doing some of the strategic planning. I'd like to turn it over to Mike and talk a little bit about open methods.
Yeah, thanks, Craig. And this is Mike Garner, the Chief Customer Officer at Open Methods. I've known Craig and Milos and watched them grow the Aventus team over that, I guess, 8-year span. So some of the brightest minds in service delivery and innovation we've come across. We're very proud to call them a solutions partner. And to Craig's point, we've worked on some of the largest service delivery and innovation projects at some of the biggest brands in the world over the past few years. So we may not get everything right, but we know we're going the right direction. And we make 2 products at Open Methods, and both of them, Harmony and PopFlow, and PopFlow is what we'll focus on today, are primarily geared to reduce the amount of effort it takes an agent to get the customer to the right offer or the right answer. And being easy to do business with has actually proven to be the most highly correlated metric relative to loyalty and propensity to spend more with your brand. When you think about it, so how do you become easy to do business with? Well, we all want to feel 4 things when we interact with any brand, and this is across verticals. We want to feel like when we call into a contact center or email or chat or you name it, however we come in, we want to feel like that customer, that brand knows me, that they know their stuff, so they know the answers to my questions. They're going to respect me and my time, and they're going to keep me informed. And that is all about taking what you should know about me and what I'm trying to do and not having me repeat that when I get to the live agent. Now, why has that been so hard to pull off in the past? And really it comes down to the number of people, the number of steps involved in getting communication channels in your CRM or your knowledge base tied together in a way where you can literally, regardless of channel, speed up and make it easy in terms of the path to the right or optimal answer or offer. All these people are involved in building test scripts and phone numbers, and you typically have to get a telephony specialist involved. And then you write these one-off, basically PS engagements over and over again to try and make sure that what you should know about your customer gets translated into driving Oracle Service Cloud or to the right place. So it takes months, a lot of people involved. So what we're going to show you today is PopFlow. And PopFlow is a rethink of how CPI should work, and it is a product that sits inside of Oracle Service Cloud and literally gives people like the experts at Eventus and Oracle CRM admins the power to to design and build and test powerful screen pops and workflow automations in a fraction of the time with no risk to either telephony side or the CRM. So it's very powerful. And Craig, I think you wanted to show them a little bit about what we had to offer, and then we'll get into the demo.
Sure. So a lot of folks come and you buy on the promise, right? They come in, they'll sell you something, they'll build these great ROI models. You go to your leadership team, you get approval, and sometimes the ROIs do work out, sometimes they don't work out. So what we've decided, because we're extremely confident, and the product's been installed with so many different clients, that those are the clients that have Oracle Service Cloud. We wanted to kind of do a risk-free model, which basically says that Eventus and Open Methods will come in, help you. We will upfront install the product. We'll put the software in place. There'll be no cost to you. We'll run a proof of concept, and that'll be 60 days, be more than enough time to prove it. And the minimum expected benefit is 10 seconds. We have had much better success in reduction of AHT in 10 seconds, but in most cases when we do an ROI, there is a strong ROI in 10 seconds. Before we start the project, we will get some certain data points from you, and we will build you an ROI, and then we'll measure ourselves against the ROI after 60 days. The good news is there'll be no surprises on the back end. The ROI will tell you what it will cost for implementation. That can vary depending upon client's environment, but that cost also has to be built into the ROI, and also what's the cost of the software. So you'll have an ROI of the number of resources, number of calls, actual reduction in AHT, minus the cost of the implementation in the software, and we have yet to find a client that doesn't have an ROI in less than 12 months, and usually it's much quicker with that. So with that, and we'll talk a little bit more about that, I want to turn it over to Mike, who is going to do a demonstration of the product. So if you just give me a second.
All right. Thank you, Craig. I appreciate it. And you should be seeing my screen now. So guys, I just wanted to start by showing you an example of a couple of the things that Craig and Mike have talked about. I've built some simple screen pops here just to try to give you a visualization of what we mean when we say we increase the value of Service Cloud, the functionality of Service Cloud, do a better job of getting the right screens in front of the right agents. So in this example, and again, this is just a basic example, what we would consider a typical legacy screen pop, right? In this case, we took a look at the caller ID of the caller as they came into the contact center, and we did a lookup within Service Cloud. And we found that that caller ID belonged to a specific contact, in this case, Randy Alsop. Pretty typical screen pop. We can configure the application to do some other things here to make this more advanced, but basically, the thought here is this is a traditional screen pop. There's still more that agents have to do to handle this call. While we put the customer's information in front of them in this scenario, that doesn't tell the agent everything they need to know to handle this customer's request. In this case, we take them through a verification process to make sure they are who they say they are, that we've got the right contact. We may ask the customer then, Randy, what can I do for you today? Randy says, I'd like to place an order. Now, while I can see some additional information about Randy, now that I know that it's him, like his previous contacts, his order history, things of that nature, I'm now going to go into our order entry screen where I can actually say, thanks, Randy. What can I get for you today? Right? And let's start processing Randy's request. Now, if you remember this screen, and again, these are just examples that we've set up that we've had success with at other customers. But if you compare and contrast that to the more we know about Randy, why he's calling, which is very often the case. Sometimes they go through an IVR and we ask them who they are, and we ask them what we can do for them. Press 1 for sales, 2 for a new service request, things of that nature. And when customers do that, very often that information fails to make it into service in an intelligent and automated way. PopFlow tries to fix that. And the way that we do that is by using that information inside of Service Cloud to put the right screens in front of the right agents to shortcut that process. Bear with me. So what I'm actually doing now, I'm actually dialing into our contact center here to give you a slightly different screen pop. Here I've done just that. I've said, I'm Randy Alsop. I verified my ID in the IVR. I pressed 2 for sales. I told it even that I not only wanted to place an order, but that I wanted to order one of the new Apple iPhones that came out yesterday. So what did we do? We took, knowing all of that, we configured PopFlow to take the agent directly to that screen so that the customer's experience is very contextual now, right? It is, hi Randy, thanks for calling. I see you want to order one of the new Apple iPhones. Let me place your order, and we're off to the races. Now that kind of logic, that kind of screen pop logic, is built inside of PopFlow Studio. And PopFlow Studio is essentially a graphic designer that gives people the ability to create as many different screen pops as they like, and to deploy those screen pops as they see fit across their different Service Cloud profiles. So for example, what used to take custom coding, i.e. getting a developer to write custom code to test that code, roll it out, etc., deploy it, we can now do using a drag and drop interface. So for example, I can say things like rebuilding that basic screen pop in our world doesn't take 40, 50, 60 hours worth of development necessarily. It doesn't take weeks and months, right, to get through that. We can build that out very simply in PopFlow. We can say when a call comes in, go do a lookup in the contact database. Check all the phone number fields for a match on caller ID. If you find a good match, one matching contact record that caller ID belongs to, automatically do something for the agent so that they don't have to do it manually. For example, I can create a new incident in Service Cloud, and I can associate that incident to the contact that I found. If I don't find a good matching contact record, maybe I want to create a new contact for the customer and take whatever information we have that we've received from the ACD or the IVR and populate it into different fields within Service Cloud. So for example, put the caller ID, the Annie, into the office phone field. If you find multiple matches, we just continue that thought process. What do you want to happen in each of these scenarios? If I find multiple matching contact records, show me a list of all the different matching contact records that I found. So I can easily design and create screen pops inside of PopFlow Studio. I can test without having to go back to my telephony department and asking for test queues and test phones and things of that nature. I can just emulate phone calls coming into Service Cloud, see what happens when a call has a particular caller ID. Obviously, this is taking me to the right spot. It found Randy Alsop. It's doing what I want it to do. I can, using that kind of test facility, test out my screen pop and make sure it's doing exactly what I want it to do. I can save it, and then I can deploy it right here within PopFlow as well. So again, if I want certain profiles to have a particular screen pop, I just assign that new screen pop to the different profiles that I want, save it, and as soon as these agents log into Service Cloud the next time, then they'll go to getting that particular screen pop. So it also makes it easier for folks to change as their business requirements change. So in other words, If I decide that I can get some more efficiency by doing more than just looking for an incident or creating a new incident, I can come back and I can add to this. I can increase my logic here, improve my logic so that it automates more and we shave off more and more time. So in that, though I have created a basic screen pop here, hopefully you can see that PopFlow is capable of much more than your standard screen pop, right? It is logic that you can apply. It is automation that you can provide for the agents so that we can shave off more time and improve your not only your agent's experience, but your customer experience to boot. So with that, I will turn it back over to Craig. There you go.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. So
Great.
hopefully what you saw there is that one of the things that Aventus, in working with a lot of clients, the IT shops are typically extremely busy, would be an understatement. And you, as running operations, a lot of times need stuff done real time, and trying to get stuff into IT and getting it prioritized can be a challenge. And what's great about this platform is that a lot of this stuff can be done without IT's involvement, and they can focus on some of the higher quality or more important priorities, but at the same time meet your needs as the business, because things are changing. So with that, I wanted to get to some questions and answers. And the first question is coming in and is talking about, well, I already have my own CTI platform, that's, why and how is this different? A few key things that are important to understand is that the biggest difference is the ability to make changes that to your IVR and your CTI. Today, every time you have to go back to your IT team, you have to write requirements documents, you go through the process, try to get it prioritized, and sometimes this can take weeks. And under this new model, once you get up and running, either you're going to get trained or companies like Aventus can help support you. You can get changes done in sometimes days and even within hours to go through the process. So the other thing that's really key is that this is all portable and reusable. We're seeing a lot of clients today looking at modernizing their telephony platforms, and you could go from an Avaya to an InContact type platform, and you don't have to redo your entire CTI process. The other thing I really like about this platform, I'm a big proponent of A/B split testing. So a lot of times you may want to check from a customer experience, try different things, and again, the tool easily allows you to implement A/B type split testing. So hopefully that happens. Next question that comes is that what are the most common use cases of PopFlow, and where do most companies start? So Mike, I'd like to turn that over to you, let you kind of help with that.
Yeah, thanks, Craig. I apologize if I was typing in the background. We had another question around, do you get to a point of knowing too much about a customer where a customer might feel, their privacy has been violated? And so I apologize for typing in the background there, Craig, but that's another good question. Again, it probably depends on the relationship you have with your customer and whether or not what you should know about him or her. And again, even if you start from, hey, who are you, or how, who's calling and how can I help, you could still automatically take what they've selected in the IVR and drive to best answer or offer or the knowledge article. So you can still save them, the customer and the operation time, but still ask who they are and authenticate them, that way. So it's all based on their nature of your relationship with the customer and what their expectation of how knowledgeable you should be about them. So sorry about the typing in the background. In terms of common use cases, you saw Mr. Hensley give you, hey, do I have a match? Do I know who's calling? Do I have a record in Service Cloud? If not, can I go get information from another system and pull that in? If there is no match, let's create a new contact record, or if there's multiple matches, run a report and then select the best one in a B2B scenario. And then I think the biggest thing is more of our customers are not, this isn't about popping to the right account, because that saves you 7 or 10 seconds, but it's actually driving based on identity, intent, and progress to best answer, offer, or knowledge, or order stage, or script, or OPA, or all those great things that come with Service Cloud.
Excellent. Thanks, Mike. Well, and it's probably a good segue. William had asked a question: do you get to the point knowing too much about the customer, where the customer might feel he or she's privacy has been violated or even creeped out? If so, how do you balance that? So, William, good question. I mean, the nice thing about the platform is you can control the CTI and the information that's popping within Oracle Service Cloud. But the reality is, and also you can integrate scripting, so you may actually have more information about that customer than you want to discuss with them initially. But the reality is there's nothing more frustrating than companies who are using IVR today to just route calls from skill-based routing. And then the first thing they ask you for is your phone number, your ID, your member number, and it's a very frustrating experience from that standpoint. So I think there's an expectation, especially if I go through an IVR, that I put my information in, that you actually know who I am. I think customers, if they've spent that time. So you can balance that out, and you can kind of control how much information you want to express to the client. But we have a lot of clients that is nothing better than saying, hey, thanks for calling, Mr. Tobin. How can I help you? Geez, I noticed last week you sent an email in for XYZ, and did we help solve that problem? That really takes out a lot more than 10 seconds, but it does provide a much higher customer experience. One of the last questions just came across. What does and how much does this cost to install and set up look like? So it's one of those things that every environment can be a little different. We have done implementations of PopFlow in a matter of days, and we've done some that have sometimes taken weeks. We did a big project in the state of New York, and it was a very complex implementation, and took us about 3 weeks to get that implemented. We have some clients that literally, depending on how fast they want to move, because we don't need a lot of support to get this up and running, in some cases can be done in under a week, and if it's really urgent and we throw an A-team on it, ASAP, we can sometimes get this done in days. So it's just a matter of the environment you have and how we're going to implement it. And typically the cost is around $20 per agent per month. But what's most important for you is that we will take your data and we'll build it into the ROI model, saying you got 50 agents, here's how many calls, here's your average handle time. If we take 10 seconds out and we add the implementation, the software cost, what's your return on investment? So not only is there no cost or risk to go up front to run this process, but also at the same point, you guys will know what the ROI is. And again, we hope and expect to run better than 10 seconds. So want to really make sure that I keep on track because we've got 1 minute left. Would love to talk to anybody out there that would like to learn more about this. Either reach out to Jeff Martin, and Jeff's email is jeffmartin@aventusg.com. Cell phone number is 949-683-8434, or reach out to Tom at tom.hewitt@openmethods. And obviously Tom's cell phone is 214-507-1641. So love to get an opportunity to work with any of you that are interested in this. I wanted to thank you for your time today, and I think it's important that we end the call because we asked for 30 minutes and we're right on the 30-minute dot. So thanks, everybody. Have a great day and look forward to following up with you. And if any of you guys are at Oracle Open World, Jeff and I will be there along with the Open Methods team, and we'd love to talk to you if you're at Oracle Open World as well. Thanks, everyone.